You ever wonder why some women just can't seem to let go of a certain man? Even when she acts cold, distant. Like she's moved on, something in her keeps circling back. She's still checking his page, still bringing his name up like it's no big deal, still wondering why he never chased, why he never cracked, why he didn't need her the way others did. Here's the truth, most guys never see, and it hits deep. It's not the man who begged, not the one who chased, not the guy who explained himself into exhaustion. It's the one she couldn't predict, the one who stayed calm when she pulled away, the one who didn't flinch when she tried to get under his skin, the one who moved like a storm in stillness, strong, quiet, unmoved. That's the man she remembers. Because when a man doesn't give his power away, when he walks with presence, purpose, and peace, he leaves a mark, not with words, but with energy. And no matter how far she runs, she can still feel it. So let's break it down, not with games, not with manipulation, but with real emotional mastery, with grounded masculine energy, with the kind of stoic strength that makes you unforgettable. Let's talk about why she can't let you go, even if she swears she already has. All right, if you're ready, let's dive in. Number 1. Master emotional control. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. Let's be real, a woman will test you, not to hurt you, but to feel you. To see if you're built on solid ground, or if you'll crumble the moment pressure hits. She'll go quiet, pull away, maybe even flirt with another guy right in front of you. Not out of cruelty, but because deep down she wants to know, can this man hold his center, even in the storm? And that's where most men fall apart. They panic, they overthink, they double text, they try to fix what was never broken, just because they felt a little tension. In that moment, she loses respect. Not because you weren't good enough, but because you gave your power away without her even asking. But you're going to be different. When you stay calm instead of emotional, when you breathe instead of chase, when you speak less and stand tall in silence, you send a message no words can match. I am not here to earn your approval. I know who I am. That kind of grounded energy, that kind of stillness under fire, it's rare. And that's why she remembers it. She may forget what you texted, she may forget your birthday, but she will never forget the moment she tried to shake you and couldn't. Because real strength doesn't yell, it doesn't beg, it doesn't break when things get cold. It just stays centered. And that kind of emotional control, that's the energy she thinks about when she's alone at night, scrolling, wondering, regretting. So don't be the man who reacts, be the man who remains, because that's the one she can't let go. Number 2, stop being available. Make her crave your presence. So once you've mastered emotional control, once you've stopped letting her moods dictate your moves, the next step is this: stop being too available. Because here's what the world won't tell you: men chase, women choose. That's the lie. But the stoic truth, what's always available is rarely valued. When you drop everything for her, when you're always there, always replying, always proving, you stop being a mystery. You stop being a challenge. You stop being magnetic, and that's when she steps off the pedestal you put her on. But when you stay rooted in your purpose, when your life has structure, direction, and meaning that doesn't revolve around her, you create tension, the good kind. Not because you're playing games, but because you're genuinely busy becoming something. You've got goals, you've got a routine, you've got discipline. She doesn't know exactly where she stands with you. And that uncertainty, it grabs her attention more than any good morning text ever could. Because let's be real, women don't fantasize about the man who texts them all day. They fantasize about the one who's hard to reach, the one who's present when it matters but always has somewhere to be, the one who makes her feel connected but never quite secure. That's what keeps her thinking. That's what keeps her checking your story. That's what keeps her comparing every other man to you. You're not being distant out of disrespect. You're just not a man who abandons his path to chase validation. You're not an escape from boredom. You're a destination she has to earn access to. And that kind of energy, that I'm good with or without you confidence, it's rare. And what's rare, she chases. So if you want to stand out in a world of men who give too much too soon, don't make her your oxygen. Let her feel your presence. But let her wonder when she'll feel it again. Because it's not your words that make you valuable. It's your absence that reminds her what she can't replace. Number 3, unlock the power of mystery. So now you've built emotional control. You're not chasing, you're not reacting. You've stopped making yourself too available. But there's another layer, and this one's powerful. It's called masculine mystery. Here's the deal. When a woman knows everything about you right away, her imagination goes to sleep. She stops wondering, she stops feeling pulled in. But when you hold a little back, when she's not quite sure what's on your mind, when you move with purpose but without full exposure, that's when she leans in. She starts reading between the lines, she replays your words, she analyzes your silence. Why? Because now, you're not just a guy, you're a puzzle. And let me tell you something real. The feminine is drawn to depth. Not confusion, not manipulation, but real masculine depth. When you're collected, not cold. When you're disciplined, not distant. When you share parts of yourself, but keep the core sacred. That contrast pulls her in. Because she doesn't feel like she's figured you out. And in a world where men overshare, overexplain, and try to win her with emotional dumping, you're the one who stands out by staying stoic, centered, and selective. You let her discover you, slowly. You give her moments of connection, but never full access until it's earned. Not because you're playing games, but because your life, your heart, your story, they have value. And anything valuable isn't handed over casually. So while other men are pouring it all out on the first date, telling their entire life story just to fill the silence, you're letting the silence speak for you. You move through life with quiet confidence. You don't announce every thought. You don't explain every action. You just live on your path, in your rhythm. And that mystery, that calm, contained energy, it lingers. It keeps her curious, it keeps her imagining, it keeps her wondering, what else is there to him? And that wondering, that's what becomes obsession. Because she can't stop thinking about a man who never tried to be understood too quickly. So protect your depth. Let her peel back the layers, one at a time. Because when you let her feel you, but never fully have you, that's when she realizes you're not like the others. And you never were. Before we jump into part number 4, take a moment to do me a small favor. Hit like, subscribe, and share this message. Your simple action can help more people who are struggling with this issue find the content they need. Thank you for being a part of this. Number 4, why walking away first makes you irresistible. So you've shown emotional control, you've held your frame, you've become less available, more grounded, more magnetic through mystery. Now comes the move that seals it all. You walk away first. And not with anger, not with ego, but with something far more powerful. Peace. See, nothing shakes a woman more than a man who walks away before she's ready to let go. Not because he's bitter, not because he wants revenge, but because he knows his worth. You didn't stay in confusion. You didn't tolerate mixed signals, hot and cold games, or love that came with conditions. You didn't shrink yourself just to be tolerated. You left the moment you felt your presence was no longer honored. And that choice, that quiet, unwavering decision, it echoes. Because most men stay too long. They hang around hoping she'll come back to her senses. They accept breadcrumbs, cling to false hope, and confuse pain for loyalty. But you walked out of the fire with your dignity intact. You didn't need closure. You didn't write long paragraphs. You didn't chase clarity from someone who was giving you confusion. You chose self-respect over temporary comfort. And that haunts her more than any argument ever could, because she expected a breakdown. She expected tears, anger, or at least an attempt to win her back. But what she got was silence. You didn't fight for a space you were no longer welcomed in. You didn't explain your worth. You simply withdrew it. And now your absence is louder than any love letter. She can't stop thinking, why didn't he fight for me? Was I not enough? Has he already moved on? Those thoughts don't fade. They repeat. They echo. Especially when you level up in peace. When you walk away first, you flip the script. You shift the power. You stop being an option and become the one that got away. So don't be afraid to leave when you're not being valued. Don't cling to potential. Don't beg for a place in someone's life who isn't choosing you fully. Because walking away isn't weakness. It's the final test of a strong man's self-control. And the man who knows when to leave, that's the man she never forgets. Number 5, she misses the standard you set. By now, you've walked away with grace. No drama, no bitterness, just clarity. And whether she admits it or not, that moment shifted something inside her. She might forget your voice, she might forget your face, she might even forget your name. But what she won't forget is the standard you set. The way you carried yourself, the way you spoke with purpose, the way you never begged, never folded, never tolerated disrespect. That energy, that calm, masculine presence, it's not just remembered, it's felt. You didn't yell your worth. You didn't try to prove it. You embodied it. And now, without even trying, you became the ruler she measures every other man against. And here's the hard part for her. Most men won't measure up. Not because you were perfect, but because you were real. You had boundaries. You had standards. You had a sense of self that didn't bend for beauty, attention, or temporary affection. See, most guys, they fall into her rhythm. They tolerate her indecision. They hand over their power just to stay close. But you made her rise to meet your energy, or you were willing to walk. And even if she couldn't rise at the time, even if she walked away thinking she had better waiting for her, there's a moment, sometimes months later, sometimes years, when she looks back and realizes no one else required her to be more. That's when she remembers. She remembers the way you stayed composed when others would have snapped. She remembers how you didn't chase when she went cold. She remembers the feeling of being in the presence of a man who knew exactly what he stood for. Because that's the thing about real standards. They don't fade with time. They linger in the heart. They echo in the silence. So no, she may not miss you the way you think, but she misses the way she felt in your presence. Seen, challenged, held to something higher. And that memory, it doesn't go away. Not because you forced it, but because you lived it. Number 6, she misses the standard you set. By now, you've become the man she remembers, not because you demanded it, but because you lived with standards she couldn't forget. But here's the twist. Sometimes it's not her heart that keeps her stuck on you. It's her ego. See, she was supposed to have the upper hand. She was supposed to be the one who pulled away, the one who got the last word, the one you couldn't let go of. But when you didn't chase her, when you didn't send that just checking in text, when you chose silence over closure, her pride took the hit. And that bruises deeper than heartbreak. Because she's used to men folding, she's used to attention she didn't ask for, she's used to validation being one swipe away. But you didn't give her the ending she expected. No begging, no breakdowns, no last-minute explanations. You simply disappeared with purpose. And now she's left with a question she can't shake. Why didn't he come back? And this is no longer about missing your presence. It's about reclaiming control. She starts wondering, can I still pull him in? Does he still think about me? And it's not about love. It's about winning. This isn't romance. It's ego. It's the scoreboard in her mind where she thought she was ahead, until you made a move she didn't expect. You didn't play. And that's how you win. Because when a woman feels like she can't reach you, when she realizes she no longer has emotional influence over you, when her tricks don't land, her silence doesn't scare you, her distance doesn't shift you, she loses control. And nothing rattles the ego like a man who doesn't need to prove anything. So now, even if she didn't really want to be with you, she needs to know if she still could. She might text, "Hey stranger," she might like your post, she might suddenly show interest again after weeks of distance. But it's not about connection, it's about recovering her pride. And the moment you respond too quickly, the moment you open that door too easily, her ego wins. But you've come too far to hand that power back. So let her wonder, let her ego sit with the silence. Let her realize she misplayed her hand. Because the man who walks away without flinching is the man she never thought she'd lose. And deep down, that loss doesn't just stay in her mind, it settles in her soul. Number 7, why your silence drives her crazy. By now, she's feeling the shift. The power isn't where it used to be. The control she once had is gone. But nothing messes with her mind more than this, your silence. Not the silence that screams, not the kind that waits for her to reach out. Not passive-aggressive, not attention-seeking. I'm talking about real silence. The kind that says, I've moved on, I've accepted it, and you no longer have access to my heart, my mind, or my energy. That silence, it's brutal to her ego. Because here's the truth, she can handle your anger. She can handle tears, she can even handle harsh words. At least then, she knows where you stand. But silence? She can't read that. And what she can't read, she can't control. Now her mind starts spiraling. Is he done? Has he met someone else? Did he ever even care? And because you didn't give her the drama she expected, because you didn't argue, explain, or try to get the last word, you became the question that never got answered. And questions like that, they don't go away. They live in her thoughts. They haunt quiet moments. They turn peaceful silence into mental noise she can't escape. Because when you stop chasing, when you stop responding to her coldness with concern, when you stop trying to be heard, you create space. And in that space, her imagination starts doing the work. She checks if you watched her story. She scrolls your page late at night. She wonders if that post was about her, or if you finally found someone who treats you better. And all of it happens in the silence. Because silence is not absence, it's presence without permission. And the truth is, words can be deleted, arguments fade, even memories blur. But that stillness, that clean, unshaken silence from a man who truly let go, it stays. It becomes your legacy. Not because you yelled, not because you tried to make her understand, but because you didn't. And that's what she obsesses over. The man who walked away, without noise, without a scene, without looking back. Just calm, quiet, gone. Here's the paradox. She might have expected you to chase, to break, to fold like the others. But what kept her up at night, what made her check your page months later, was the fact that you didn't. You didn't react. You didn't explain. You didn't beg to be chosen. You simply stood still, in your power, in your peace, in your purpose. And that silence, that unshakable energy, it hit harder than any goodbye, because you didn't just walk away. You elevated, and in doing so, you became the man she thought didn't exist. The one who couldn't be controlled. The one who led with discipline, not desperation. That's the kind of strength Stoicism teaches. Calm over chaos, standards over approval, presence over performance. And that kind of strength, it doesn't ask to be remembered. It simply leaves and echoes forever. Thanks for joining Stoic Horizon today. If this resonated with you, don't stop here. Subscribe, explore more of our content, and let's continue this stoic journey together. Stay strong, stay grounded, and until next time, keep cultivating your inner strength. We'd love to hear your thoughts or suggestions for future topics, so drop a comment below. See you in the next video.